Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She did it over breakfast like it was nothing. Saturday, quiet house, coffee warming the counter. Erin glanced at my weekend list on the fridge. Mow, oil change, fix the pantry door, and flicked it with a nail. Don't bother, she said, reaching past me for the creamer. You'll just make a mess, like always. I blinked. It's a hinge. I've replaced 100. Right? And it squeaks after a week. She took her mug to the table and opened her laptop. I'll ask someone who knows what he's doing. I stood there, stupidly holding a screwdriver I'd already pulled for the pantry. Someone who? Mark, can we not? She didn't look up. I have a call in 10. That was the first time she talked to me like I was a kid getting in the way. No eye contact. No thanks. I told myself she was stressed. I rinsed the mug I'd just used. Erin, I said, calmer than I felt. That wasn't necessary. What wasn't? The comment. She sighed. I'm tired of repeating myself. If I need help, I'll say it. Please don't turn this into a thing. I set the screwdriver down. We can fix a hinge, or we can fix how we talk. One of those matters. Good, she said, typing fast. Go fix your tone. If I'd known where it was headed, I'd have taken the screwdriver and driven to the hardware store to buy silence. But I stayed, and I watched it slide. By Monday, the air between us had the temperature of a waiting room. She ate dinner facing her phone. I kept doing the practical things. Trash out, receipts sorted, laundry folded. She barely noticed. Tuesday night, I tried again. What changed? Her eyes didn't leave the screen. I've done all the talking for 3 years. I'm just tired. I'm here, I said. Say what you need. What I need is for you to stop needing me to narrate. She pushed her plate away. Also, stop buying strawberries. They go bad. Then tell me what to buy. There it is. She stood, collected her dish. I'm going upstairs. Erin, slow down. She paused at the doorway. You know what's funny? You only chase when I'm walking away. I'm not chasing. I'm trying to address something. Same thing. The fridge hummed. I stared at the empty chair across from me and ran through a checklist. Did I miss a date? Did I mess up her car? Did I insult her family? Nothing. I washed her plate. I slept light. On Wednesday, I made a decision. Not a speech, an action. At lunch, I blocked out my calendar for the next month's evenings. Gym twice a week. Woodworking class on Thursdays. Saturday mornings at the dog shelter. I emailed the shelter coordinator and signed up for a regular shift. Then I moved the joint credit card to the back of my wallet and set up a new account for my personal expenses and automatic savings. Household bills stayed on the joint one. My time and spending shifted to my control. That night, I set my phone on the counter and told Erin while I chopped onions. Schedule update, I said. I'm not available Thursday nights anymore. I'll handle dinners Monday and Tuesday. You've got Wednesday and Friday. Saturdays I'm out till noon. She opened the fridge. Since when do you schedule without talking to me? Since we started talking past each other. I answered. This way it's clear. No one's guessing. So you're busy now. Looks like it. I slid the onions into the pan. You'll always know where I am. Cute. She pulled out sparkling water, didn't offer me one. And if I have plans that require you? You can ask, I said. If it's important, I'll make room. But the baseline is this. She leaned on the counter, studying me like I'd grown 2 heads. That's not how couples do it. It's how adults do it when unclear expectations wreck the house. She gave a humorless laugh. You got a TED Talk in the last 48 hours? Just tired of tripping over invisible lines. I stirred the pan. Dinner at 7. She walked off without answering. 10 minutes later, I heard a text come in. It was from Laura. You good? Erin's sharp lately. Don't take it to heart. Laura was one of Erin's oldest friends, the kind who sends birthday cards with handwritten notes and brings casserole when people move. We'd met at a backyard barbecue a few summers ago, and she had a quiet, direct way of looking at you when you talked, like she was weighing what you were saying against the world as it is. I typed back. I'm fine. Just recalibrating. She replied with a thumbs up and a call if you need a laugh. I'm excellent at making fun of Pinterest recipes. I smiled, then put the phone face down and finished dinner. Erin ate quickly and went upstairs. I ate slower and thought about hinges and tone and how a simple boundary changes gravity in a room. By the next week, the patterns were clearer. She started leaving dishes in the sink when it was her night. When I did them, she'd say, You love the part where you get to be a hero. When I didn't, she'd step around the stack all day and then text me from the couch. I can't believe you're letting this sit. I didn't reply. I took a shower and went to the garage. My workbench was finally organized. The pantry hinge creaked in the house I used to run like clockwork. I left it alone. On Thursday, after my class, I stopped by a diner. Ben from work was at the counter, nursing a bowl of chili. Ben's the guy who calls out nonsense in meetings without raising his voice. He waved me over. "You look like a man choosing his battles," he said. "Trying to." I Saturday home's tense. He stirred the chili. "You fighting fair?" "I'm not fighting," I said. "I'm setting rules I can keep." "Good. Because when someone treats you like a doormat, lying down to show your soft side is not the move." He scratched his cheek. "You want to come help me Saturday with the fence? Keep you out of the blast zone. I'm at the shelter till noon." "So afternoon." He grinned. "I pay in burgers." Done. When I got home, Erin was in bed watching videos with the volume low. I brushed my teeth. She muted the screen. "Hey," she said. Soft. "You were right about the schedule. I got more done today." "That's good. I was short with you this morning." Her voice was careful, like stepping on a loose board. "It wasn't fair." "Accepted." She slid over a couple inches, a clear invitation. "Stay." I looked at her. I'm not a light switch. Her eyes flashed, then softened again. "I'm trying." "I believe you're tired," I said. "I'm not convinced you're changing. Keep going. We'll see." She stared for a second, then turned the volume up and rolled away. That was the first warm breeze after a cold front. It lasted 20 hours. The next day, she sent me a screenshot of a couple's retreat with a note. "We should do this." Before I could answer, another message. "Actually, never mind. You'd hate it." I put the phone in my pocket and finished tightening a hinge at a client site. Back in the truck, I typed, "If you want to book it, book it. I'll consider anything that has an agenda and a time limit." She replied, "I'm not going to beg you to care." I left it. There's a difference between caring and being dragged. The following week, she upped the pressure. "Don't go to Ben's Saturday," she said over coffee. "We have a neighborhood thing." "What thing?" "The barbecue at the Culvers." I didn't hear about it. "You never listen." She took her mug to the sink. "You stay? Be present. Send me the invite," I said. "If it's on the calendar, I'll juggle. If it's a text you got today, I'm going to Ben's." She turned. "So you'd rather fix a fence than meet neighbors?" "I'd rather keep my word than break two because you remembered something last minute." "That's convenient." "It's consistent," I said. "You can call that convenient if you want." She stared like she wanted to throw the mug and then remembered the deposit. "Fine. Do whatever." At Ben's, we worked under a pale sky. He hammered while I set posts. Midway, Mrs. Culver herself walked by with her dog, stopped, and pointed at my level. "Straight as a sermon," she said. "You two free tonight? We're doing burgers. Erin said you might swing by." "Thanks," I said. "I'll check. We've got plans after this." Ben shot me a look once she left. "So you did know." "I learned 5 minutes ago," I said. "I'm not running." "Good," he said. "Because nothing's more unattractive than a man who jumps when someone snaps." "Do your thing." When I got home, Erin was in the kitchen with Laura. Laughter, wine, flour on the counter. Erin looked over my shoulder at the time. "Oh, he returns," she said. Fence stood. "Ben owes me a burger." Laura wiped her hands and smiled. "This kitchen smells like I know what I'm doing." "Which is more than I can say," I answered, and she laughed with her whole face. Erin's mouth pinched. Laura lifted a tray of something that looked like hand pies. "Stay," Laura said. "Taste test." Erin flicked the oven light off and on. "Mark is busy. He has somewhere to be all the time now." "I can spare 20 minutes," I said. "It's my kitchen, too." Erin smirked. "Sure. But try not to get flour on anything." "I'll try not to stand near the flour." Laura changed the subject with surgical timing. "How's the shelter? You still walking that old hound who hates everyone but you?" "Walter," I said. "He now tolerates 2 people. It's progress." She laughed. Erin was quiet. The pies came out, and they were good enough to make you forget about a long week. Erin put one on her plate and turned to Laura. "You know he used to buy frozen meals and call it cooking," she said. "It was a phase." Laura didn't miss a beat. "And now he cooks and volunteers and fixes fences. Must be a rough phase." Erin's smile was thin as a blade. "Let's not turn this into his highlight reel." I set my plate in the sink. "I'm heading to the garage," I said to both of them. Laura, the pies are great. To Aaron, I'm free Sunday after 2 if you want to plan something with an actual time. Aaron made a non-committal sound. Laura's eyes followed me to the door, warm and worried. 2 days later, Sunday afternoon, I was ready at 2. Aaron wasn't. At 3, she surfaced. You still want to do something? I've got an hour, I said. She scrolled. An hour is pointless. Then next time, pick a time. I'm not making appointments to see my own husband. That's one way to avoid seeing him, I answered. She rolled her eyes. You love turning things into rules. I love not being jerked around. That night, I stripped the guest room bed and made it. No announcement. At 11, I grabbed my pillow and walked down the hall. Aaron watched me from the doorway. What are you doing? Giving us space, I said. You've been clear you need it. So you're moving out of our bed. Temporarily. Punishing me. Protecting me, I replied. From saying things I'll have to regret. Cowardly, she shot back. Come, I said. Good night. At work on Monday, I focused. In the afternoon, my manager, Carla, called me in. Carla's a practical person who once told a client, if you want magic, try a word search. We do maintenance. She closed the door. You're off your jokes, she said. What's going on? Home is a storm, I said. I'm staying dry by building walls. Good, she said. Do your job and don't bring the storm in here. Also, if you need a project out of town for a week, say the word. That's an option? I can make it one, she said. Sometimes distance is clarity. I'll let you know. On Wednesday, I laid a new rule on the table over tacos. I won't be your chauffeur for your networking nights, I said. I'll help you load the car. That's it. If you want a drink, arrange a ride. She put her shell down. Wow. Not a punishment. Logistics, I added. I don't like sitting in corners while you pretend I'm not there. You don't like supporting me. I support you best by not being your prop. She laughed once. You really think you're too good for my world. I think your world is too good for me when I'm treated like the help. Who fed you that line, Ben? My mirror. She shook her head. You used to be easy. Now you're full of yourself. I used to bend. Now I stand. Congratulations, she said. You invented a spine. I was born with one, I said. I remembered to use it. She stared. We ate. The storm built in silence. Thursday brought the first real softening. I found a sticky note on my lunch. Thanks for taking care of the trash when I forgot. I stared at it. A small thing, but it slid under the door like a peace offering. That night she set a plate in front of me. Steak, potatoes, broccoli, nothing flamboyant, everything right. I messed up this week, she said, sitting. I'm under pressure. I shouldn't have snapped. I'm not your pressure valve, I replied, but I ate. It was good. She watched me eat like she was waiting to see if the food would erase the last month. I didn't give her that version. Do you want to watch that show you like? She asked. I have plans, I said. She nodded slowly. Right? Your new life. My balanced life. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Okay, have fun. I almost stayed. Then I put my dish in the sink, rinsed it, and left. Her softening lasted 48 hours. Saturday, I helped at the shelter, cleaned kennels, walked Walter around the block, then went to Ben's. We finished the fence by mid-afternoon. Ben wiped his hands. You look less haunted, he said. Building things helps. Destroying them can, too, he said. Sometimes doors. Not yet, I said. But soon. When I got home, Erin was on the phone in the living room with someone on speaker. Her tone was high and friendly in a way she didn't use with me anymore. He thinks volunteering makes him a saint, she was saying. Like throwing a leash on a mutt makes up for being absent. I set the keys down calmly. She looked up, saw me, and didn't change her expression. We'll talk later, I said, and went to the kitchen. That night, I slept in the guest room and woke up done with explanations. The following Friday, she told me she was hosting a small dinner on Sunday. Just the girls, she said while she arranged flowers. I need you not underfoot. I'll say hello and watch the game, I said. I won't be in your way. Good, she said, clipping her voice like she was pinning her hair too tight. Don't eavesdrop. Don't give me anything worth overhearing. Sunday came, and the house smelled like garlic and something Herbie Laura would compliment. I helped carry chairs from the garage to the dining room, then rolled the TV cart into the den and put on a game. When the doorbell rang, I paused the screen and opened the door. Laura was first, jeans and a blue sweater, hair up like she had somewhere else to be later and wanted to look good both places. "Hi, stranger," she said. "Hey," I answered. She lowered her voice as Aaron called from the kitchen. "You holding up?" "I'm vertical." "You're also allowed to be human," she said. Then she moved around me with a smile that asked nothing of me and said everything anyway. 2 other friends came, Tessa and Jolene, voices high, compliments ready. I did the handshake and stepped aside. Erin popped a cork with a sound like a decision. "Shoes off," she called. "And please don't let Mark talk football at you." "Hi to you too," I added. She didn't look up. I returned to the den. The game muted their chatter until the conversation turned, as it always does in a room full of people with long memory, to spouses. "Communication is key," Jolene said. "Consistency," Tessa answered. "And small surprises." Laura said something I didn't catch. Then Aaron, loud enough to reach the den. "Consistency? Sure. What do you do when your husband is consistent at being a handful?" Jolene sked. "That's harsh. I'm just being real." Aaron laughed. "He's good at fixing things that don't matter." Laura, sharper. "He fixes a lot that matters." Aaron gave an exaggerated sigh. Laura always defends him. "It's cute." There was a small silence, and then Laura's voice, clear. "You're lucky, Aaron. You know that. You might be too frustrated to see it, but he's solid. I'd give a lot for that." I heard her say it like she wasn't supposed to. Like it slipped out because the truth has a way of tripping over the carpet. The room froze for half a beat. My hands went still on the remote. Aaron answered with a laugh that sounded practiced and cruel at the same time. "Take him, then," she said louder. "Seriously, he's all yours. He's nothing but problems." There it was. The kill turn. Not a scream, not a plate thrown. Just a line that cut through the last rope holding the bridge. I didn't stand slowly. I stood like someone who'd planned for this day without knowing it. I walked to the entryway, grabbed my keys, my wallet, and the jacket I keep by the door for spring weather indecisions. Aaron watched from the dining room doorway, wineglass tilted, a smirk fighting shock on her face. "You're not actually leaving," she said. "I am," I replied. I looked at Laura. Her eyes were wide, mouth open, apology and something else tangled there. I turned back to Aaron and spoke so it landed. "I'm done. I'm leaving for good." I opened the door. Behind me, a chair scraped. Laura's voice, "Hold on, wait." She grabbed her bag and winked at Aaron with a tiny, lethal smile. "I'm going with him." Jolene made a sound. Tessa gasped. Aaron's face changed. Not guilt, not sadness. A different thing. The look of someone who finally realizes a lever snapped off in her hand. Laura caught up with me on the porch. "That was a bad joke," she said in a rush. "But I meant the first part. You're a good man. I heard you." "I don't think this is the time for anything," she added, cheeks flushed. "But I'm not letting you walk out alone. Let's just go somewhere. Talk. Or not. I'll sit with you." I nodded. "Fine. Let's go." We drove with the windows cracked and the spring air coming in like the first honest breath in months. We ended up at a park by the river, the one with the ugly metal sculpture kids climb anyway. We walked a path like a loop you only notice from above. When we sat on a bench, she turned to me. "I'm sorry," she said. For what she said. For not calling it out harder sooner. "You tried," I answered. "I should have tried differently." She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and looked straight ahead. "I hate what's happened to the two of you. And I'm not neutral, and I'm done pretending I am." I guessed. I leaned back. "I'm not armed for a new story. I'm just done with the old one." "Good," she said. "Done can be clean." We talked. Not about fixing a marriage. About music and trucks and why people pick fights when they're scared. She told me she'd always wanted a workshop but lived in a small place and made do with a corner table and clamps. I told her about Walter and how the dog taught me patience by refusing to walk when the ground was wet. She laughed. "You can stay at my place," she said later, quiet. "No pressure, no anything. I have a couch, a guest room if you can tolerate the plants. Just sleep. Figure things out in the morning. You don't have to." "I know I don't have to," she cut in gentle. "I'm offering. You have my keys if you want them. If you don't, I'll drop you wherever you point." I looked at the river and the metal thing in my hands. "I'm not going back there tonight," I said. "Let's go to your place." She drove. Her apartment was a clean, lived-in one-bedroom with a couch that had seen movies and good friends. She handed me a towel and an extra toothbrush from a drawer. It wasn't intimate. It was kindness organized. You take the bed, she said. Non-negotiable. I'll take the couch. Then I'll take the couch, she shot back. And I'm smaller. I win. Bed. I didn't argue. I slept without listening for footsteps in the hall. At 8 the next morning, my phone was a lit fuse. 10 missed calls. More texts than a holiday. I scrolled. You humiliated me. Are you with Laura? Of course you are. Unbelievable. After everything I do for you. You've been checked out for months, and now you run. Coward. Pick up. We need to talk like adults. The last one, you destroyed our marriage. I typed. I'll send a time for logistics. I'm filing today. I put the phone face down. Laura was in the kitchen, making eggs. She looked over. Fun morning? She asked. Parade of messages. I'm sorry. Don't be. I said. It clarifies things. The courthouse was a 15-minute drive. I stood in gray light and made the decision my feet had already made the night before. Paperwork in, date set. No drama. No speeches. When I came back to the car, my phone buzzed again with messages from Aaron, then from Tessa, then Jolene. I skimmed. Unbelievable behavior. You owe her a conversation. I replied to none of it. The next 2 weeks were logistics. I moved essentials to Laura's, duffel with clothes, my laptop, a box of tools. I told Erin the times I'd come and asked her to be out. She tried to wedge in calls. I kept each under 3 minutes. You're living with Laura, she said once flat. I'm staying there, I corrected. Same thing. Not the same, I said. But it doesn't matter to what's between us. It matters to everyone else, she said. Everyone else doesn't get a vote. She tried a hug in the driveway once when I carried out a box. I stepped back. No. Please, she whispered. We can fix this. You can't unring that bell, I replied. And you didn't ring it alone. She shook her head, confused and angry and beautiful in a way that doesn't sway you once you've already chosen the door. I drove away and didn't look in the mirror. At Laura's, I cut a shelf to fit above her desk, installed it, and pretended I wasn't grateful when she handed me a lemonade and made no comment about how long it took me to get the brackets level. Don't touch my succulents, she warned. They're dramatic on purpose. I'll leave them to their performance. We cooked. She made dinner. I washed up. She didn't hover. We watched a documentary and argued about whether it was manipulative. We slept in separate rooms without ritual. Nothing was pushed. Everything was simple. 3 days after I filed, Erin called at 7 in the morning. You can't just erase a marriage, she said without hello. I'm not erasing, I said. I'm ending. You're with my friend. I'm not with anyone, I said. I'm staying in a place where no one disrespects me. You broke us. You broke it too, I said. We both held a match. You lit yours last night. Silence. Then, so this is it. This is it. You'll regret this. I already regret not leaving sooner. She hung up. 5 minutes later came a text with a photo of the pantry hinge, newly replaced. I didn't respond. I packed the rest of my clothes that afternoon and moved my boots from the hall closet to Laura's entry. I felt like a renter in my own life, which is better than being a prop in someone else's show. A week later, Erin tried the second softening. She knocked on Laura's door at 6 in the evening. Laura opened it halfway, surprised. Erin looked past her and saw me. So you live here now, she said, lip curling. I'm staying here, I answered. You should have texted. I was nearby, she said, all sugar. I made lasagna. Your favorite. Laura stepped back. Do you want to? No, I said. Thank you. I added to Erin. Leave it on the porch. I'll toss it later. Her mouth opened. Toss it. I'm not eating food from you right now, I replied. Too many strings. It's just dinner. It's bargaining. Laura kept her face neutral, but her shoulders eased like someone watching a tightrope walker finally step off safely. Erin set the dish down harder than necessary. You're cruel, she said. I'm consistent, I said. You do grand gestures. I do rules. She swallowed. You're unrecognizable. Take a good look, I said. This is me when I'm not begging to be heard. She stared at Laura, then at me. I hope you two are happy. Eventually, I said. We'll see. She left. The lasagna cooled. Later, I slid it into the trash with the aluminum pan and all. It felt like drawing a line with foil. Work came and went, steady as a metronome. Ben stopped by one night with a 6-pack of sparkling water and a bag of pretzels. Housewarming, he said to Laura. You must be the nice one. I can be ruthless, she answered. I just use it on clutter. Good, he said. Someone needs to keep Mark from turning the living room into a hardware store. We laughed. The room felt like a place where conversations end instead of looping around for sport. As the weeks rolled by, Erin's messages shifted from angry to pleading to cold. She wanted numbers. She wanted furniture. I gave her clear times and left, without lingering. The day we divided what we built together, I ran the inventory like it was a job. You keep the dining set, I said. You picked it. I take the garage tools. I'll transfer the car title to you. I keep the truck. Savings we split. I'll close the joint card after the last bill posts. She scanned the list. That's it. That's it. You're not going to fight me on anything. I'm not fighting, I said. I'm leaving. Her eyes glistened in a way that would have killed me a year ago. You were supposed to be my person. I said. But you wanted a different kind. She looked past me at the hallway where we used to hang coats. What if we start over? We won't, I said. I'm not a project you get to restart. Outside, Laura waited in her car, hands on the wheel, eyes on the middle distance. I got in and exhaled like the end of a mile. How'd it go, she asked. Clean, I said. It's never pretty, but it's clean. We didn't celebrate. We ordered takeout and ate on the floor and tried to name the city's best taco and failed. 2 months turned into 4. The paperwork finalized without fireworks. I moved some of my stuff from storage to a small rental I found on the edge of town with a garage big enough for a bench and a vise. Laura kept a drawer there, then 2. She spent 3 nights a week, then most of them. We didn't rush. We didn't label. We built a routine where kindness wasn't currency. It was baseline. The first time she reached for my hand in public, we were at the Saturday market, arguing about whether peppers belong in chili. Her fingers found mine like they'd always known how. I didn't look at her. I just didn't let go. A year later, we stood in a quiet room with a few friends and said vows that weren't poetic because neither of us needed fancy. We promised small daily things. We promised to speak directly. Ben made a toast that involved the phrase fence-level love and got a laugh. Carla sent a card that said, adults only, we don't do drama here. I didn't check if Erin saw the photos. She had moved to a different city 6 months after the divorce. She got half the savings and the sedan. The house went to her because I didn't want it. She sold it within the year when the payments ate the quiet she thought she'd purchased. I heard from Jolene in a roundabout way that Erin rented a smaller place near her sister and didn't host dinners anymore. I didn't gloat. I noted the data. Choices have costs. Laura and I took stock of our stuff. Her warm blankets, my tools, our combined mug collection that made no sense. We sold my rental and her condo and bought a place with a wide front porch and a garage that felt like a dream I hadn't let myself have. The backyard had room for a dog. Walter became ours officially, and he tolerated 3 people, me, Laura, and any neighbor who offered him chicken. On moving day, Laura stood in the empty living room, hair messy, hands on her hips. Feels like a house, she said. Soon it'll feel like home. It already does, I said. She looked at me with that straight-on gaze she'd had since the barbecue, the one that doesn't let you hide. Thank you for letting me be there that night, she said. At the worst door. Thank you for opening the next one, I answered. We hung a shelf together. We argued about the height. We got it wrong and then right. That's the thing about a life built on rules you can actually follow and kindness you don't have to earn. You can afford to miss a bracket and fix it without making it a referendum on who you are. Every now and then. On a Saturday morning with coffee and that dog asleep near the slider, I think about the pantry hinge. It squeaks sometimes. I leave it. When Laura hears it, she'll look at me, eyebrow up. You going to handle that? She'll ask. Eventually, I'll say, don't let it turn into a metaphor. She'll warn, smiling. Not my style, I'll answer. And it isn't. I don't live in metaphors or speeches. I live in what's next. I lived in that even when she laughed and offered me up like a punchline, because that was my signal. The man I was 2 years ago would have stayed to explain. The man I am now leaves with his keys, speaks once, and doesn't circle back. If I could tell the old me anything, it would be simple. Don't argue about the hinge when the door is rotten. Set a rule. Walk through. Keep walking. And if someone is standing on the other side who sees you, who says plainly, you're solid, don't overthink it. Shake their hand. Build a shelf. Fix what's fixable. Leave what isn't. That's the whole story. Not romantic. Not tragic. Just one man, choosing clarity over noise, respect over proximity, action over complaint. I don't miss the house where I was an accessory. I don't miss being mocked in my own kitchen. I don't miss feeling like I had to ask permission to be useful. I look at the woman across the table making a grocery list we'll both follow, and I think, this is as close to perfect as grown-ups get. Not a performance, a partnership. Sometimes the past sends a text. It doesn't get a reply. Sometimes the hinge squeaks. It reminds me I'm human, not a machine. And sometimes, late at night, we hear Walter sigh like he's relieved we're both finally committed to a pace he can keep. We turn out the light, close the door, and let the house be quiet. The only smirk in the room is the one I give my own stubborn mistakes. Then I sleep, and in the morning there's coffee, and there's Laura, and there's a plan we both picked. That's enough. That's the win. Making it to the end is a win too. It means you enjoyed the